Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have a sharp game to share with you from the 1980 Olympiad. On the white end, Mikhail Tal playing against Ivan Radulov. Alright, we have on board a Sicilian Defense, open Sicilian. And to be a bit more exact, we are working with the Richter-Rauzer variation. So let's see where this first special or non-standard move is. Where's there maybe a decision point by Tal? All very common moves so far. Maybe right around here. How exactly to recapture? Tal goes with the bishop. A bit more of a fearless piece. Potential capture of the knight in some cases. We get b5. And now comes f4. So before playing f4, Tal certainly had to anticipate b4, this undermining of the e4 pawn. That's how black plays it. And in this game, Tal ends up exchanging bishop for knight. Not the only way you could play it. It says you could go to a4 and play it as a pawn sacrifice. We get the bishop for knight exchange in this one. And now the knight takes a step back to e2, only temporarily obstructing the light square bishop. Knight has its eye on d4. First things first, though, black defends this b4 pawn. And from here, knight d4, consider it a developing move, bishop ready to go. Rook b6, cutting out any knight c6 moves. More development. In comes g6. You could also play it here with g5, breaking down some dark squares. Unopposed dark square bishop ready to be fianchettoed. Battery ready to be formed. But g6 also an option. And from here, bishop b3. So even right about here, I would say, I mean, there's other options you could go for, you would think. Activating the rook here, getting that last piece involved, but all right, Tal already has his eye on that weakened c6 square. He has not given up on this. Defender, possible jump. There's also this open and diagonal, and playing that b4 move, a4 is a gap, so he's eyeing up this diagonal clearly. Black covers it, and now still no rook activation. Knight to f3, in comes a5, nearby a4. Well, Tal is there first. He plays here. Well, actually, let me throw it to you as a pop quiz. How would you respond here? Feel free to pause the video. All right, top move here, knight e5 is played. Now, I must say, I was attracted to a different move, e5. Sort of a similar idea. Whether it's the knight or the pawn on e5, you can't take because of the mate. But here's the thing, the queen could fall back here, home base, and now black is considered better here and could even be winning if white doesn't respond well with this tension. Says best from here to take. Bishop recaptures, black's ready to go next. With castles, here's the thing. If you, let's say, invite that last piece into the mix, this structure is superior for black. Very strong center here for white, sort of negates this presence of the major pieces in the center. This is a winning position here. Nearby there's a4, bishop is out of squares. All right, so we don't have e5, it's knight e5. And black blunders now. Ends up playing bishop to b5. Now, if you'd like to, go ahead, pause the video, see if you can spot the best move here for black. Okay, the best move was to continue to develop and know that this bishop is poison because there would be mate on b2. Now, it's not as simple as that. It runs much deeper. Here is what the top line looks like from here. It says, move this knight out of the way, secure this, having your eye on e5 next. Here's the top line. This is maybe a line black was concerned about, didn't like the end position. What might this end position be? Well, one where you are pretty much down the exchange. It says an only move in this position would be king to d2. If you try and secure this promotion with a queen, there's the deflection trick. It calls this position right here equal. Okay, that's a very messy line right here. Black playing with the bishop pair. All right, complicated for sure. Black misplays it here. Responds in this game to knight e5. Plays bishop b5 here. And now let's see how Tal punishes black. Takes advantage of this king still being 2 moves out from castles. He goes with knight g4, that is top. And now where do you go with the queen? Fianchettoed queen in this game. If you play in the forward, let's say you counterpunch, well, you're going to get hit with queen d4, 2 rooks, unprotected. So in this game, queen g7. And now we're going to work on this hole here on f6. In comes e5. Knight ready to pounce. That square is covered. Also, that e5 move has done what? Cut off the queen from seeing d4. Queen d4 now with a punch. Bishop there to defend. There's really no defending this, though, in the end. No matter what black tries from here, it is completely busted. King and castled at this stage. King f8. Look at what this knight is doing to these 3 pieces. This is not a 3-point knight. Barely have any moves. 1 legal move for the king. Any major piece movements, the knight is ready to win some material. You can't take the knight either. So in response to this check, bishop takes knight, we're recapturing. We're on the queen, we're ready to win the rook next. So it's king f8 in this game. Follow up, bishop c4. If we could get this bishop exchange in there, the queen will find it much easier to make inroads on the queen side. This queen in no position whatsoever to try and tame a white queen's activity on the queen side here. Black falls back in this game. Now we have g4 met with g5. Some air given to the queen. She finally has a move. If you try something different, let's say this d5 move in this position. Earlier I touched on it, saying it did a good job of taming the major pieces in the center. Not the same story here. You would be asking for a sacrifice. Bishop takes d5, or even simpler maybe, is to go ahead and give a check. Pounce on the newly weakened c5 square. Black blocks, and then you win the rook. All right, how black plays it. Some air for the queen. Follow up, knight h5, pouncing on the weakened h5 square immediately. And from here, the queen falls back. I mean, what else are you supposed to do? If you take a step up, you'd be running into f5, breaking down black's position, opening more lines. I believe what's keeping black from going here also is that you could capture on d6. 2 threats then emerge. 1 and 2 to squash the bishop. So the queen goes back. g8 it is. Get the capture on d6. Ready to win the bishop. That's covered. But now comes f5. Pawn takes f5. And mission accomplished here. The idea not to simply recapture. We have now this completely opened e-file. Tal hops right to it. Activates that final piece, move 28. And that's enough to force black's resignation. This was a complete crush. Look at this final position. Every one of white's pieces fully activated. And black is setting up for the next game. All pieces on the back rank, except for a silly fianchettoed rook. Now, if the game continued, what do you even try here as black? Let's say bishop here. Rook e7. This is a one way you could maybe see the game end as checkmate. Check, check, and next move here will be checkmate. Black is completely boxed in here. There's no stopping. Rook takes bishop next for mate. The only move that prevents that. Rook e7, but we just take the rook with the queen. Checkmate on board. All right, in this one, we only go as far as that last piece entering the scene here, rook h to e1, and black resigns. Anyhow, what are your thoughts on this one? Feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.